centre of the ground now. We're underway. This is the vital third quarter of the QAFL Escort Cup of 1983. The tap out immediately comes from Guy to Zane Taylor and takes the ball out of the centre towards Jason Cotter. Cotter's been paid the mark, and Southport immediately into attack. Cotter right on the point of the square with the ball, drives it forward, puts it high in the air. Big bunch of players underneath it. It's a mark to Southport. Peter Munro. Gee, looks like Francis Burke, this bloke.
Oh, he's a strong mark, isn't he?
He
Great
certainly is.
Hands.
He had Safarovic come right across the front of him when he went to take that mark, but he was behind and took a good grab. And now we've got to see a little of commitment from Munro on this occasion. We saw him waste one golden opportunity to score a goal. And here's the shot coming up now. Munro lining it up. And she's right through the middle. And a goal on the board, his second of the day.
And that brings Southport back into the lead. So the free kick taken towards the half-forward line. Ball's gone loose on the ground. Safarovic at number 7. Onto the right foot, in towards the centre of the ground. Taylor, has he got it? It hasn't been paid. Play on.
Oh, great goal.
That's a super goal.
Oh, what a great goal.
Well, that's a goal that needed to be kicked because I was surprised that Taylor wasn't paid the mark. He had plenty of possession of the ball.
Jason
Here it is in
Cotter.
replay.
Yeah, Peter Munro it was that went for the mark.
Little Jason Cotter was the man that put it through, though.
What a great goal.
32 minutes gone.
They were runners-up last year. Will they suffer the same fate in 83? The bounce of the ball. Taylor wins the tap-out. Wells under pressure from Croak.
Oh, good decision by them.
And the free kick for Tony Croak. Just inside the square, onto the left foot, up towards centre half forward. Loose on the ground. And away that time by Budge. Keeping it in the field of play with Peter Boyce. Skirting the flank up towards centre wing.
Great defence by Southport.
And now the Sharks come on the attack again.
Peter Guy!
Peter Guy takes the mark.
What a beautiful pass from Jason Cotter.
Well, he got away from Burns.
Peter Eyes, beg your pardon.
Southport putting the pressure on the Panthers. Russ gets it away. Wells. Boyce. Bullet roll.
Oh, yes!
Yes!
Goal!
Okay.
Wow.
Peter Boyce.
Look at the delight on Tim Tagliaboo's face.
Peter Boyce has scored possibly the winning goal of the afternoon. The 13th for Southport. Here it comes in replay. It went over the top of Rogers. Back came Neeson and couldn't just get there in time. The umpire took his time and finally awarded it.
Well, with balls down. Safarovic gets the knock, puts the ball forward. Coming in is Norm Reeves. Reeves runs across the ground, eludes two players. Bump back, there's a tire and it's all over!
Southport
The Sharks have done it! 13-12, 90, 12-5, 77. The Panthers are runners-up for the second year in a row, and Southport Sharks are the premiers for their first year in the competition.
Well, what a grand final.
Look at Norm there, Bruce. It's a magnificent performance. They've won the club championship, they won the reserve grade today, and now they've won the one they were after when they entered. Who would have thought, Bruce, back in February, that they would have even been here this afternoon?
I'm sure that if you ask the Southport supporters, they would say that they didn't think they would make it here today. What a magnificent day for the Southport Football Club.
It's part of football tradition that when any senior team wins a prestigious grand final, it's followed by a fairly lengthy session of revelling. And at Southport, they had good reason. The Sharks started the season as the debutants in the QAFL. They weren't expected to create too many problems for the strong Brisbane teams, but as the season continued, the Sharks began to mould into a side that was capable of taking out the Escort Cup. Yesterday, the fairy tale came true when the club took out both the first and reserve grade grand finals over Morningside. Coach Norm Dare was remarkably articulate, despite the fact that he'd had no sleep since Saturday night.
A lot of people are now saying that Southport are going to be so strong over the next few years that they'll virtually shut out the whole competition. Do you go along with that?
No, not in any way. You know, we've got a battle to keep our players here. It's a bit of a floating population. We were fortunate this year we had a group of players together good enough to win a grand final. You don't always get that. Once you win one, the next one's always the hardest. And I'm not saying we can't win the next one, but I'm sure every side in the QAFL is going to be out to beat us.
Southport veteran Sel Short was so overcome with emotion, he decided to perform a human sacrifice in the middle of the Sharks' home ground. But unfortunately, another club member wouldn't allow him to savour the moment.